Hey, Jen, it's DieTrich.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
I know that you will be coming to Boston on March 13th with Lords of Acid to promote Pretty in Kink, play on words of Pretty in Pink. Can
Yeah.
you, well, I know Lords of Acid has been around since the early 90s. I was born in 1988, so I can't say that I grew up listening to Lords of Acid. So for people who um, might not be familiar like I am, how would you describe the show and what you have planned for this concert?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Boston, by the way. I'm really excited about Boston. For some reason, we didn't hit Boston last time, and I haven't played, I played Worcester. Is that how you say it? Worcester?
Oh, yeah, Worcester. Yeah, west of Boston.
Right. So I played there, and I want to say, I think I played Rhode Island, and I played Maine, and I played everything, but for some reason, on the major tours, I haven't hit Boston for some reason. I think there was always festivals or something. I don't know. But, yeah, so we're playing Boston and Pretty in Kink, and for people who aren't familiar with the particular kind of show and music, it's kind of like an electronic industrial ravey party kind of band with as opposed to you've got a lot of bands out there. Obviously, there's guys singing about hanging out and partying. We have a female vocalist, and the female vocalists are usually our new vocalist, Marika, is amazing. She's going to be singing about all this crazy stuff. It's a kinky fetish kind of a thing. I think we just some article that just came out, LA Weekly. I think they just said something about us being a top fetish band. So Pretty in Kink fetish band. We got songs called Rubber Doll and Rough Sex, and there's a song called Pussy, which is we got a little cat meowing in there, but it's one of those double entendre things where it can go either way.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a very exciting show, and I know you have some special guests coming, Orgy and the Jenna Torturers, is that right?
Right, yeah. Jenna Torturers were number 2 on the LA Weekly's top fetish band, so it's a pretty good lineup. Orgy's going out with us. We have a burlesque show that's going on. Also, there's a band from Minneapolis that is also coming out with us. I think they do some stuff too. I'm not really familiar, but it's just a whole focus on kink and fetish and everything.
It's going to be a wild night, I imagine.
Yeah, it should be fun. Yeah, we keep a couple rubber dolls out there. We keep it going. It's just kind of, that's how we did it on the last tour. I think we're going to turn it up a notch for this one.
Well, I can't wait to see it. And I know you have quite an extensive and impressive resume as a musician. You played with Doyle. How will this compare, playing with Lords of Acid, how does that compare to the other bands you have played in terms of musicality, your musicianship?
Well, that's a good question. I think that, it's interesting. I think I've been very lucky, very fortunate in playing with a lot of different genres. So I've played with Doyle, the classic, some of the Misfits classics, along with some of the, heavy rock metal kind of vibes there. I've gone out and done progressive thrash, speed metal. Lords of Acid kind of plays into some of my major influences, which would be Prince, and I kind of get it's nice to be able to play some. This is a bass player's gig. It's got so many cool grooves and riffs, and I'm just out there having a really time of my life playing these classic bass lines to this awesome music, and but it's got like a little bit of a Prince vibe to it. In that it's like a jam, kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can definitely dig Prince.
Yeah. So so like I said, I've gone from genre to genre, and this is definitely fitting in with that kind of groove, bass bottom end. The bass is driving a lot of the riffs and stuff. So very, very happy and very honored to be a part of this lineup and this tour and to be able to work with Praga at this level.
That's awesome. And did I hear correctly, I was watching your live chat you did a few days ago. Did you do a Journey tribute recently?
Yeah. Yep, I've done all kinds of tributes. When I'm not touring, I usually fill in for a lot of cover bands, a lot of 80s hair metal stuff. I've done Journey, Foreigner tributes, Bon Jovi tributes, just everything. I have a knack for picking up songs very, very quickly, and most of the stuff I've heard it. So the way if I've heard the song, chances are I could play the song as long as you just give me a starting note, and I should be able to play along with it. So that kind of enabled me to jump into so many different bands, and I built up what I call like a repertoire of like 2,500 songs or whatever. I just name a song, I'll play it.
Wow, that's impressive. Did you grow up listening to a lot of classic rock?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I just the radio and everything was there. So, yeah, I think that's kind of where it comes from. I just listen to a lot of stuff. I retain music a lot better than I retain a lot of other memories. So when I hear a song, I immediately, I just remembered it. So that's kind of where that comes from as far as the amount of songs and stuff.
Yeah, and Journey has so many, hits, so many classics that are, I'm sure, fun to play along to.
I think that people get a little surprised, you listen to Journey, that's kind of different. I said, well, I'm an artist and I listen to all different genres of music. I listen to classical music. I'll get into a classical phase and I'll just, bust out some of my favorite Tchaikovsky and Beethoven and Chopin piano pieces, and I'll just listen to that for a while. I listen to some soundtrack stuff like the Hans Zimmer, The Dark Knight and Batman v Superman. Bear McCreary did a lot of stuff for the Battlestar Galactica series, which I was really big on, and he was just tossing out, episode after episode of music, and that's a very impressive pace. But it was also, I really liked this, what he was jumping around on as far as the style. So that was also, so I'll listen to some of that too. I got really into Prince and some of the George Clinton stuff. I've gotten into some of the metal stuff. I like the new Ghost album. So I'm really all over the place. I can just, flip and go from one genre to the next. It really makes no difference. I just enjoy there's a lot of good art out there, and I think to just nail yourself down to one genre is really closing yourself off to so many experiences and so many moods, so many other moods that are out there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, a lot of my musician friends tell me it's essential for them to expand their, musical palette, to listen to different musics and learn new styles.
Sure, and I don't think I necessarily, I guess maybe back when I was, 13, 14 and just picking up the guitar, I purposely went out and, listened to stuff. But I think that for the most part, I don't think I deliberately listened to anything. I just had a very well-rounded, from a bunch of different areas. So it wasn't like it was forced or it's, I got to listen to this now. That's obviously the, torture way of doing it. You listen to this now, otherwise, you're going to, But I think the better way to do it is just to try to have some kind of, I think like mood, like I'll pop in something, per mood, or, if I read something that's, mentions something about Schubert or something, I'll throw that in and listen to some of that. A lot of times, I'll notice in the movie, right away, I'll go, wow, this music is really kicking in for this particular part of the movie and stuff. And then I'll go back and try and find out, I'll wait for the credits to find out who it was, if it might be somebody that I recognize, a vocalist or something, a cover song that was covered, and it was kind of a totally different vibe on a previous classic. So I'll make it sure I listen for who it might be. I think that's kind of what I've always done.
Oh yeah, I think I've done that before too. If I heard a song that I really liked in a movie, and before the internet, I guess, to try to find out what it was.
Just dozens of instances in movies where I was like, boy, I really like what's going on. This crazy scene in this movie. a good example, I think, was like maybe 28 days, 28, 28, what was it, 28 days later and then 28 weeks later?
Oh, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
For the zombie movie, at the very beginning, there's a real intense moment there, and then all of a sudden it goes into just total chaos, and this song is playing in the background, and it was just building and building and building. It's at the beginning of the movie. I think, and I want to say, I think it was at the beginning of the, I don't know if it was at the beginning of the other one, but I know it was at the beginning of the second one, and I was like, oh, I remember texting my bandmate at the time, and I was like, what is this? Who is this? Do you know who it is? And we're like, well, I don't know, but we're going to find out. So we stuck around for the credits, and it's just like, it's become a habit just to stick around through the credits to check the music credits out.
Very cool. And I wanted to ask you, you were at NAMM this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't make it this time around. I went last year, but it was pretty chaotic. What was your experience like there?
It was fun. I ran into a lot of friends. I usually we're all touring, so I'll catch them on tour or we'll miss each other because we're on tours in different parts of the country. But NAMM's kind of nice because everybody kind of comes together out there. I know it's funny, I wear earplugs a lot of the time because a lot of the ambient noise can kind of throw me off. And I remember even with earplugs, it was so loud there. And everybody was just, there's so many, voices and instruments and everything going on at once. I was asking, does anybody else hear that? I don't think I could survive.
Yeah, it can be mentally exhausting.
Exactly. And I mean, it wasn't like it was cutting off all the sound. It was just kind of bringing it down a little bit so I could manage a little bit better. But I think noise is something about, music, noise, my ears are like really in tune to everything that's going on. Noise around me. So I mean, something like like NAMM, which it was really, like I said, very cool to see everybody. Really cool to chat with some of the people who are making some of the gear we're using. But then, yeah, it can be very overwhelming sometimes.
Was there a specific booth or booths that you were checking out?
Well, let's see. So I work with Schecter and I work with Intune, but they haven't been at the NAMMs that I've been to. And I was hanging out a little bit over by the Coffin and Reunion Blues booth, which they do a lot of cases. A lot of people seem to be like a good meeting place for everybody else that we were running into. That was one of them. Gosh, what else? Let's see. Some of the other booths like Ernie Ball and SIT Strings. Just the Orange booth we ran over by there. I mean, really, it was just all. There's so many different things going on there.
Oh yeah.
I think we spent most of our time over by the Coffin booth just to mingle with all of us people that we knew. Ran into Sin and Galen from Lords, and we kind of hung out there. One day with Sin, and then the next day with Galen. So.
Nice. Yeah, Ernie Ball was one of my favorites last year.
Yeah.
Well, just to wrap things up, is there anything you want to say about the new album or the tour that we didn't talk about previously?
Yeah, I love the new album. I'm really excited. We're playing a few songs out there, and I'm really excited about the ones we chose. I'm really excited. I always, when I'm out there touring, the whole thing for me is definitely to be able to meet so many people all over the place and to network and to just to hang out and perform for everybody, which is the whole goal here, and to just trying to give everybody a break from all the crazy nonsense that's going on out there right now. So. Oh
yeah, I can definitely echo that sentiment. But I'm really looking forward to the March 13th show at Brighton Music Hall.
So am I. Now I don't know if I've been there, but very much looking forward to being down there in Beantown and hanging out there. I've hung out there a few times, and I passed around there on different tours, but I've never played Boston proper, and by golly, I am ready.
Well, I hope you get a proper tour of it, and if you need any suggestions, I'm always down to send some your way.
Sure. Sounds good. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you, DieTrich. It was a pleasure chatting with you.